Hi, I'm Mark Levitt, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bad Lyrics. Today my feature and focus is the Beatles. Now I couldn't actually use a Beatles recording, so these are, sound-alikes, because of copyright infringement. So I had to do the whole broadcast over again, but maybe it's better on repeat. I don't know. Anyhow, let's go on with it. So anyway, this is my second broadcast about the Beatles. Because they have so much material, I was able to get two broadcasts out of the Beatles, whereas other groups I struggle to get even one. But anyway, let's talk about the Beatles. Now, whenever they do a biography about the Beatles, they always gloss over that whole Pete-Best thing. You know, they got the original drummer for the band who got fired right before their career took off. You know, what happened to that guy? They always gloss over it. Imagine that. You know, your last name is Best. It screams that you're going to be the best at something, and the man was fired from the best band. He was fired from the most successful band. I mean, how do you live that down? And the band members, you know, they forgot about him completely. Paul McCartney, charitable guy that he is, couldn't even get this guy like a bar mitzvah gig or give him a ham sandwich. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, this guy, and think of this guy's life. He just lives every day. He's like, I could have been a Beatle. I could have been a Beatle. But look, maybe he did. Maybe he had some semblance of a good life. You know, maybe he went on. Maybe he met a girl. Maybe he had a career. Was elevated to the position of executive assistant in his company. I mean, but the man could have been a Beatle. How do you compete with that? All right, anyhow, and also whenever I do one of these broadcasts about a really popular band, there's always some guy on the internet who's like, well, if the Beatles were such bad lyricists, how come they sold so many millions of albums? How come? I'm like, look, pal, I'm not trying to dispute their success. I'm not saying they were a bad lyricist or that they had no success in their life. You know, I was born on planet Earth. I know that. I'm just trying to point out that they didn't always crap diamonds. They had some lyrical misfires, and that's what I'm talking about today. So just relax. Just try to chill, go back to your NYU film class, and just, relax. Okay? All right. Now, the first song I will be talking about is For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. This song is always on TV. There's this special running now on PBS. I think because it's the anniversary of the release of the Sgt. Pepper's album. So they're always talking about it. There's this English guy who's basically analyzing this album to death on the show. He's basically every freaking nuance. This guy, if George Harrison coughs on a track, this guy will tell you why. So it's really ridiculous. And each time I tune into this program, it's always on the same goddamn song. Always talking about For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. I never liked this song growing up. It didn't help that John Lennon sang it in an insanely nasal voice. It's like, the benefit of Mr. Kite, there will be a show tonight on trampoline. I'm like, well, what is he saying? Benefited, mysticated? I could never make out the lyrics either. So I never liked this song. But anyway, so this English guy is talking about the song on the show, and he's in frickin' ecstasy about the Calliope that Martin plugged in to make the song have a nostalgic feel. So he's basically having an orgasm about the Calliope. Now, if you notice the Calliope here, it elucidates, it enhances the recording, it's entrancing, really, and it makes you go back to the age of the Calliope of the carousel. And I'm like, oh, please, just let me listen to the freaking song. That's all I want. It's all I tuned into the show for, really. And I can't do it. But anyway, so he's talking about it, and I've noticed on all these shows, Lennon apparently is always freaking inspired by some really random thing. He's like, for the benefit of Mr. Kite, he saw a circus poster that read exactly word for word, For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. If I saw that poster, I'd be like, that's one awkwardly sounding poster. I'm not going to write a freaking song about it. I don't even know what he's talking about. So anyway, so he's inspired by these random things. It's like every time, the man like does something really obscure, he writes a song about it. It's like John Lennon composed this entire song on Abbey Road after drunkenly urinating on a street lamp on a street in Hamburg, Germany, 1963. Apparently, the pea stain resembled the outline of the mane of a pony. So he wrote Pea Stain Sally in celebration of this event. But not to be outdone about Lennon's song about a horse, you have Ringo wrote that nifty little tune about an octopus's garden. You know, octopus's garden. Really, really common, because octopuses, horticulturalists that they all are, you know, they tend their gardens, of course, and we all know that. So he wrote a song about octopus's garden. I mean, that's a freaking good idea. I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade. So basically, you want to drown. You want to be under the sea, and you just want to stay there. I want to be found under the ground in an earthbound sanctuary in the shade. Why didn't you write that tune? Could just as easily. Now, many consider the song Hey Jude to be the Beatles' most classic recording. It's been something like, I don't know, a bazillion weeks on the Billboard chart. But, I mean, what about that chorus, though? You know, it's ridiculous. It goes on forever. You know, this bit, I've often had to take a pee and then throw out the garbage and then make myself, a cup of coffee. And they're still singing the goddamn chorus of that song. It's like, da 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 hey Jude 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 Jude. It was written by written for Lennon's son. I think his name was Julian. So it has that appeal of the sentimentality and everything. But my God, that chorus! It's like, can I go on with the rest of my life, guys? Or are you just gonna keep freaking singing this chorus here? La 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 la. Hey Jude. It's unbelievable. Next, we come to the classically simple-minded Beatles song, Hello, Goodbye. Now, this is an insanely monotonous song, which is basically based upon a fundamental disagreement. It's like, yes, no, stop, go. It's like, you say yes, I say no, you say stop, I say go, go, go. I've seen Sesame Street songs that had a more complex dynamic than this. It's very, very putrid. But anyhow, that's been my look at the Beatles. The second session of my look at the Beatles. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully this one will be not be messed up due to copyright infringement, because no one ever heard of the guys that are in the background here, like some bozos. But anyhow, I've been Mark Levitt, your host. I hope you enjoyed this Beatles recording. I invite you to go on with the rest of your life, and have a great day.